So as we just heard, North Korea's Kim Jong-un met China's Xi Jinping in Beijing for the first time in 6 years. And their rare one-on-one meeting was largely focused on reaffirming friendship. Now, as for South Korea, President Lee Jae Myung will be traveling to New York later this month, where he could meet his American counterpart, Donald Trump, for the second time in around a month. For more on this, we're joined by Professor Kim Dong-soo, professor at the Division of International and Area Studies at Pukyong National University. Professor Kim, thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
So, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un sat down for talk with China's Xi Jinping last night, and Russia's Putin in Beijing also. What's your assessment of North Korea moving closer to Beijing and Moscow?
I think the increasing closeness between North Korea, Beijing, and Moscow suggests a strategic realignment that could influence regional and global dynamics. By strengthening ties with China and Russia, North Korea may be seeking to diversify its diplomatic and economic partnership and enhance its security through support from major powers. This shift could serve as a response to their ongoing international sanctions and diplomatic pressures, offering North Korea a broader set of alliances to potentially negotiate from a position of greater strength. Although the exact implication depends on how these relations develop, what is certain is that Kim's appearance in Beijing was a kind of bold move in a broader game of global power recalibration.
Right, and it was a dramatic image we saw in Beijing, Kim, Xi, and Putin appearing together in public for the first time. Will the United States try to further strengthen three-way ties with South Korea and Japan in response to that?
Yeah, I think it is very likely that the United States will seek to reinforce its alliance with South Korea and Japan in response to the growing trilateral engagement among North Korea, China, and Russia. The United States has a long-standing strategic interest in maintaining regional stability and deterring potential threats from North Korea and other regional actors. So strengthening trilateral cooperation with South Korea and Japan could involve kind of joint military exercise, intelligence sharing, and diplomatic efforts to present a united front. This approach aims to counterbalance the influence of North Korea, China, and Russia, and to reassure regional allies of U.S. Commitment to their security and stability in the Asia-Pacific region.
Right, and as for South Korea, President Lee Jae Myung will be attending the UN General Assembly later this month and chair a meeting there. And he will be the first South Korean president to preside over a UN Security Council meeting, as South Korea assumes the rotating presidency this month, right? So what makes this so significant?
Yes, President Lee Jae Myung presiding over a UN Security Council meeting as South Korea's rotating president is highly significant. It is the first time a South Korean leader has had such a role, highlighting South Korea's increasing international status and diplomatic influence on global issues. The leadership position offers South Korea a platform to shape discussions on international security, peacekeeping, and global challenges such as nuclear proliferation and climate change. It also underscores South Korea's commitment to multilateral diplomacy and its desire to contribute actively to global governance, especially amid regional tensions and North Korea's ongoing threat. Overall, it enhances South Korea's diplomatic standing and provides an opportunity to advocate for issues important to the country and to the broader international community.
I see. And will President Lee's visit to New York provide an opportunity for him to meet President Donald Trump again? And could there also be a trilateral summit that includes Japan?
given the diplomatic importance of UN General Assembly, there is a reasonable possibility that President Lee could arrange another meeting, formal or informal, with US President Donald Trump while both are in New York. However, no official confirmation of such a meeting has been announced yet. Also, President Lee has previously emphasized the importance of trilateral cooperation with the US and Japan, and has expressed openness to such a meeting on the sidelines of international forums such as G7. But there's currently no report or confirmation that a trilateral summit in New York is arranged. My personal perspective is that the trilateral summit is unlikely at this point because it is much more complicated than arranging bilateral summits.
I see. I guess we'll have to see how that plays out in New York. All right, Professor Kim, thank you so much for your insight today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.